So basically, we're reading. Well, hi, how are you? We're reading a book right now. It's called You Are Venice. Yeah, so basically, this girl, she's talking about how she just got a job for like throwing a party, but she's never like done it. And she kind of like lied on her resume, but she did like a really good job, and she obviously got the job, and yeah, she did a good job. And that's basically where I'm at. Let's see. I got a I got all 27 of my unemployed friends to hand out flyers and take tickets in exchange for the aforementioned free sausage, beer, bearded, unruly polka dancers into places on time. Got the vendors set up and saw it that the bagpipe parade went off without a hitch. If there's something you really want, if not necessary saying you should lie to get it, but I'm saying you're probably lying yourself if you're not going after it. I like that. Because so often when we say we're unqualified for something, what we're really saying is that we're too scared to try it, not that we can't do it. Most of the time, it's not lack of experience that's holding us back, but rather lack of determination to do what we need to do to be successful. We put so much energy into coming up with excuses why we can't be, do, or have the things we want and designing the perfect distraction to keep us from our dreams. Imagine how far we get if we just shut up and used all that energy to just go for it. Here's the good news. 1. We all have way more than we give ourselves credit for knowing. 2. We are drawn to things we are naturally good at, which counts more than having a graduate degree in the subject, by the way. 3. There's no better teacher than necessity. 4. Passion trumps fear. In hindsight, I realized that I was more qualified for the job than I thought. I'm a big sister, which means I'm naturally bossy. I love throwing parties, and I could talk to anyone. Even 76-year-old Russian men who don't speak English and are freaking out because they can't find their tights. I went to do many more things I was unqualified for, but I also wasted plenty of time pretending I wasn't ready to do some other things I really wanted to do. And shockingly, the times I jumped in and went for it were way more fun than the times I spent sitting around getting ready and doing nothing instead. Whether it's an online dating profile you're not ready to post, or a trip you want to take after you lose 10 pounds, or a business you want to start as soon as you save enough money, just start now. Do whatever it takes. You could run over by the ice cream man tomorrow. You could get run over. One time I spent an entire month preparing my office to write a book. I got just the right chair, put the desk in the perfect place by the window, organized all the materials I needed, and then recognized them 3 times, cleaned the place until you could perform surgery on the floor, and then proceeded to write the entire thing at my kitchen table. Procrastination is one of the most popular forms of self-sabotage because it's really easy. There are so many fun things you could do in order to procrastinate, and there's no lack of other people who are totally psyched to procrastinate with you. And while it could be super fun in the moment, eventually, what is this? Noshiness buzz wears off, and you're sitting there a few years later feeling like a loser, wondering why the hell you still haven't gotten your act together, and why other people you know are in a big fat promotions at their jobs, or taking trips around the world, or talking about the latest orphanage they opened in Colombia on NPR. If you're serious about changing your life, you'll find a way. If not, you'll find an excuse. In the interest of getting to where you want to go in this lifetime, here are the most tried and true tips to help to stop procrastinating. Remember that done is better than perfect. Just get the damn website up already and send out the mailer, or make the sale calls, or book the gig, even though you're not totally ready yet. Nobody else cares or will probably even notice that everything isn't 100% perfect. And quite frankly, nothing ever will be 100% perfect anyway, so you might as well start now. There's no better way to get done than to already be rolling along. Momentum is a wonderful thing, not to mention highly underrated, so get off your ass and get started now. Get up. Get up. Notice where you stop. When you're working on whatever you're working on or whatever you're pretending to work on, where exactly do you stop? Is it when you have to do the research, make the scary phone calls, figure out how to raise the money, right after you start, when you have to commit, when it starts getting good, right before it takes off, before you even get out of bed? If you can pinpoint the precise moment that you say, screw it, I'm out of here, you can prepare yourself for hitting the oil slick by hiring coaches or assistants or psyching yourself up or delegating that particular part of it out and removing known distractions. For example, let's say you discover that every time you sit down to make calls to try to book yourself a speaking gig, you mysteriously find yourself pulled into Facebook for hours. Turn off the internet or go someplace to make calls where you can't get online, like a park or your car or Antarctica, and then decide that you have to make 5 calls before you can check back in and see if anyone commented on the picture you posted on your cat's eating a potato chip. 3. Make a bet with someone mean. Did I read that right? I did. My phone, my camera might die. I'm never prepared. I don't know where to look. I'm sorry. Oh, we're almost done. We're gonna make it. Make a bet with someone mean. A good way to make yourself accountable is to make a bet with someone who will hold you to it. They must have no mercy. They can't condole you or understand you tried your best. You want the kind of person who will make you feel humiliated even before the excuses come out your mouth, or who will show up at your doorstep with a burlap sack, a big rock, and blindfold should you attempt to wiggle out of paying your debt. And make sure you bet something that's painful to lose but not unrealistic. I need water. For example, you could get someone $1,000 that you'll have the first chapter of your book written for a certain date. No, for example, you could bet someone $1,000 that you'll have the first chapter of your book written by a certain date. Make it a payable amount that you really don't want to pay, but that's barely within your reach. Then write the check out to him, include a payment date, and keep it over your desk to remind you what's in store if you don't get the job done. If you really want to up the stakes, tell him that if you don't meet your deadline, instead of giving him the money, you'll donate the $1,000 to a group or cause that makes your flesh crawl. Personally, I find this kind of horror work wonders for my self-discipline. I'm gonna try that. Own it. Number 4. Own it, work it. Own it and work with it. If you're the kind of person who blows everything off until the last minute, and you know this about yourself, why waste time freaking out when you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing? Go to the damn beach, have a cocktail, and when the pressure's on, get down to business. There's nothing worse than time wasted pretending to work or stressing out while trying to have fun. No work gets done and no fun is had. It's the worst for both worlds. Figure how much time you truly need to get the job done and go do something until the clock starts ticking. Number 5, love yourself right now, wherever you're at. The end. Stop procrastinating. I hope you have a good night and thanks for listening.